The Grand Traverse County Board of Commissioners meeting. This is Wednesday, March 4th. This is our regular business meeting, coming back from a short break. If everyone could find their seats, please. We are now on the Second Amendment Sanctuary County. Before we take public, we will take public comments, but before we do that, I had asked Randy Bishop if he would please introduce this concept and where it's come from and why he feels that's important. So he's going to give us an introduction to this item so that we're all on the same page as to what we're talking about. Okay. And obviously, Mr. Bishop, you're in favor of this.
My name is Randy Bishop. I'm a resident of Antrim County. I'm here today as the state administrator for the Facebook group, Michigan for Second Amendment Sanctuary Counties. We launched this page on Christmas Day, 2019. Jeff Fuss is the main administrator. I'm the second administrator. When he contacted me and asked me to join, we had 2 members. Before we went to bed that evening, we had 41, and when we woke up about 6 hours later, we had 187. As of today, March 4th, we have 96,373 members in all 83 counties of the state of Michigan. You must be a resident of Michigan to be a member of our private group. In addition to the statewide page, Mr. Fuss organized 83 county pages. The members of those county pages are not necessarily members of our statewide page. Those 83 counties have 21,117 members. This resolution is being brought to this community today as a result of our efforts that we're doing in all 83 counties. To counter a lot of the things that have been said negatively against it and to inform you, Mr. Chairman, and the commissioners, I appreciate the opportunity to clarify some things for you. Number one, this resolution has nothing to do with the Second Amendment. The Second Amendment in our U.S. Constitution, ratified December 15, 1791, states a well-regulated militia, comma, being necessary to the security of a free state, comma, the right of the people to keep and bear arms, comma, shall not be infringed. Our effort is not about that amendment. It mentions well-regulated militia. It has commas. Groups and individuals have argued what those commas mean. It's created ambiguity. There's been arguments about it. What does it mean? Why do you, as county commissioners, have the authority here today to talk about something that is constitutionally protected? That's not what this is about. Our state constitution, 1963 as amended, Article 1, Section 6 says this, quote, every person has a right to keep and bear arms for the defense of himself and the state, period. Now, when you sworn into office, you took an oath to defend and uphold the Constitution of the United States and the state of Michigan. But I'm sure many of you, like a lot of our elected officials at the state level, county levels, were not even aware that our Article 1, Section 6 of our state constitution is the strongest language in America when it comes to bearing arms. I've been told that by numerous attorneys that I worked with to draft our original resolution, which you have chosen to change. Mr. Chairman, you know we submitted to you our original resolution. That's not what is here today. However, the people of the state of Michigan want to send a message. Why are we doing this? That's the question that everybody here in this audience and you commissioners have even asked. The media has asked it. There's been statements here by public comment earlier today that it's outside of your authority to do what you're doing. No, it's not. Let me tell you why. We, the people, witnessed over a year ago, on February 28, 2019, Democrats in Lansing introduced 3 House bills in the House and 3 bills in the Senate. They're currently pending in committee as we speak. Those are proposed bills that would implement red flag laws, background checks with regards to mental health, the banning of high-capacity magazines, and many others. Our governor, Gretchen Whitmer, on September 10th, and I submitted evidence to you in your talking point package, Mr. Commissioner. Chairman, I hope you shared it. It's not this one, it's the previous package. Our governor, Gretchen Whitmer, bragged on her Twitter account, and I gave you a screenshot of that post on her Twitter account. She was very proud to join 11 other gun-grabbing governors, sending a letter to President Trump and Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell on September 10th, 2019, asking that the laws that were introduced in Lansing be not only passed in Michigan, but be implemented at the federal level. We started connecting the dots. Now, many people in this room are pro-Second Amendment. Many in this room are against Second Amendment rights. We understand that. We're not asking you to do anything other than make a symbolic message here today. Symbolic. Let's talk about that for a second. Why did you start this meeting, and why does every other public meeting in the state of Michigan usually start with a Pledge of Allegiance? That's symbolic. You don't have to do it. By doing it, you're not changing any laws. You're not amending anything. You're not infringing on any laws. You're not skirting any laws. You're doing a symbolic gesture. Let's talk about our founding fathers. July 4th, 1776, 56 men stood up and signed the Declaration of Independence. We all were taught in school, John Hancock wrote it really big so King George could see it without his spectacles. That was symbolic. It didn't change any laws that we currently had in America at the time. It didn't affect any future laws. As a matter of fact, there weren't any future laws because we weren't even a country yet. What was it? It was a symbolic gesture of we the people to a tyrannical king that said, we're done with you. Now, a lot of people have made statements that it's outside your authority. It doesn't change any laws. It doesn't threaten the Second Amendment. It doesn't threaten our state constitution. It's correct. It doesn't. It doesn't skirt any laws currently on the books or potentially any laws forthcoming. What it simply says is we got a problem in this country. This country is divided. Politically speaking, half of the state voted for President Trump, the other half voted for Hillary Clinton. He only won by 10,000 votes. We're divided. We're divided on this issue. How many times have you guys seen this many people attend your county commissioners meeting and are willing to take, going to end up being probably 3 hours of their time? How many have ever done that? Let me inform you as to what has happened. January 23rd, I drove to St. Ignace, Michigan in the afternoon to attend the Mackinac County Board of Commissioners meeting, much like this. The room was packed. Commissioner Patrick asked everybody to pass a hat so they could raise enough money to build an annex to the building because they'd never seen that many people there before. As of this past Friday, we have had 22 county commissioners approve our resolution as written or slightly amended and have declared them sanctuary counties for the Second Amendment. 22 out of 83. That's over 25% of our state, and we just had the first one done on January 23rd. We're doing this in every single county across the state of Michigan because of these red flag laws already pending in Lansing, our governor's position, where she wants them implemented not only in Michigan, but across the country. But more importantly, it's a message. Why are we doing it today on March 4th in Grand Traverse County? I would refer the commissioners to the packet I gave you. On the top of this sheet is a picture of a young man. His name is Lucas Gerhardt. He's 20 years old. He's studying criminal justice to be a police officer at Lake Superior State University in Michigan, Sault Ste. Marie, Chippewa County. He went back to school from his father's residence in Oakland County, and he brought his legally owned AR-15 Colt rifle. He had eight magazines of 30 rounds capacity. He had 2,000 rounds of ammunition because he was going to be at school all year, and he wanted to be able to participate in the school's gun club. On a weekly basis, they meet at a gun range and they practice. He went to the public safety office. He turned his AR-15, his magazines, and his ammunition into the public safety office, which that is their school's requirements. He got a receipt and went to his dorm. He posted the picture of his AR-15 on his Snapchat account because he wanted to memorialize the surrender of his rifle and have a picture in his phone to show his receipt for turning it in. A couple of hours later, a student filed a complaint because she saw the picture on his media account. They contacted the assistant prosecuting attorney. They contacted the city police. He was arrested. He spent 83 days in jail. No due process, no court date, no bond. Well, they did give a bond of $250,000 cash, and he couldn't afford it. He's facing felony terrorism charges of 20 years in prison. His case is coming up later this month because he took a picture and with his First Amendment rights, posted it on his Snapchat account. It's happening in Michigan, and these laws aren't even passed yet. They're not even out of committee. They haven't even been signed by our governor, but we have a case right now of a northern Michigan county prosecuting a young man over a photograph on his Snapchat account. Most recently, the governor in New Mexico, newly elected, sworn-in Democrat, along with the Democrat state House and Senate, passed these red flag laws. February 25th, she signed them into law. The second page of your packet shows you that she made a statement to the county sheriffs of the state of New Mexico. And she said, "You will enforce my new law that I signed, or you need to resign." Excuse me, your prosecuting attorney and your county sheriff are duly elected by the people of the county. All 22 county sheriffs and prosecutors that have approved our resolution, those sheriffs and those prosecutors approved and agreed with our resolution. That many of them were asked. By the way, every single meeting that we've had in all these counties, this is exactly what has happened. They ran out of chairs. They got people out in the hallway. They got people standing up because there's not enough room. If there's no interest in this, why is this happening? Why is this happening in every county? Yes, it's symbolic. That's all it is. What you're saying is, Second Amendment in 1791, followed by our state constitution in 1963. We have rights, but we have tolerated infringements of those rights. Background checks, fingerprints, having to pay for CPLs, having to go to trainings and prove that you went to the trainings. What we're saying is we have God-given rights, but we have acquiesced. We have allowed infringements to be stacked on top of our God-given rights. And very simply, all we're asking is for you to make a statement as this county that you acknowledge our rights, and you simply say, State Legislature of Michigan, Governor Gretchen Whitmer, our representatives in Washington, D.C., enough is enough. We're going to draw a line today, and we're going to simply say, listen, we are going to operate the way we are right now. We're not going to infringe or skirt any laws on the books. We're not going to do anything else going forward. But we simply want to send a symbolic message. Please don't waste your time on any more infringements of our rights. Because, folks, we don't want your county sheriff and your county prosecuting attorney to be put in a position that the county sheriffs in New Mexico are facing this past week. If this resolution is adopted today, nothing changes. The sun will go down tonight, the sun will come up tomorrow. There will not be any more changes in our current laws, and we, the people, will not be doing anything differently than we have been for the last 50 years. You're not going to see AR-15s down the streets of Front Street in Traverse City. We're not going to do that. Why? Because we don't have to. We know that you commissioners simply made a symbolic statement, and we trust that by you submitting that statement to our legislature, to our governor, to our elected officials in Washington, they'll hear us. They'll hear you, the duly elected officials to represent this county. Are you representing the majority of them being gun, Second Amendment people? Perhaps. Maybe perhaps you made a statement against this, for this resolution that's against your other constituents? Perhaps. But it's a discussion we need to have, because it's happening right now in the state of Michigan. Without any laws passed, this young man's life and his future has been irreparably damaged forever. He will not be a police officer because of a picture he posted on a Snapchat account. Commissioners, I ask respectfully that you pass this resolution unanimously, regardless of your political party or your position on the Second Amendment. We need to be unified, that very simply, if any future infringements come, we ask the legislators to think about this symbolic message today. That's all it is. You're not asking them to not enforce laws already on the books. You're not asking them to not enforce laws that may come. And we will challenge through the courts, and eventually they'll be proven unconstitutional. You know why? Because in our hearts, all of you and all of us know in our hearts what's right and wrong. You know why the Founding Fathers put it in the Second Amendment. You know why we have the strongest language in the state of Michigan, in the entire country, in our state constitution. If a law was passed out of Lansing or Washington, and you truly looked at it and you read it and said, that's ridiculous, that's an overreach of government, you, just like the sheriff, just like the prosecutor, just like the residents, you'd know whether or not it was right. We don't have to wait for the Supreme Court to tell us so. So with that, I'll be glad to answer any questions you commissioners may have about the pending resolution or about our effort.
Okay, does any commissioner have a question for the community organizer that's asking us to take this up? Okay, thank you, Randy.
Thank you, commissioners, for your time.